The Reawakening by Gari Sullivan. Sir Gregory woke refreshed. He always did when his wife was away. She snored, nothing more than a ladylike whimper, from her bed at the other side of the room, but it and the constant responsibilities of his business empire were enough to ensure that Sir Gregory had nothing but constant light sleep at night. It was 5 minutes to 6. His breakfast would arrive in just over an hour. Before then, there would be the Skype call from Delhi, the salient points from which he would need to put into an email to Frankfurt before the markets opened. Sir Gregory, if he had his way, would awake to natural light every morning, but Lady Dorothy would not hear of sleeping with the curtains open.
"The very idea,"
she would say, although the nearest neighbours were some 5 kilometres in the distance, with swathes of greenery between the two homes. As daylight gently poured into his eyes, Sir Gregory stirred and, from his bed, gazed out to the view through the large window that filled almost entirely one wall of his exquisitely adorned room. Sir Gregory took a breath and held it. Something had caught his eye. Nature. There was no other word for it. He remained still and simply watched the day slowly come into being. It was as if he had never noticed it before. The numberless quantity of green, from the dark shadow hue of the large poplars that framed his estate to the lush verdant expanse of lawn. He noticed the trees dance with the breeze to the sound of the dawn chorus. The sun was readying itself for a bright, warm summer's day. Sir Gregory slowly let the air leave his lungs, and the view took his breath away. He slid his feet into his slippers, wrapped his dressing gown over his silk pyjamas, and rode in his private lift to the ground floor. Outside, he stepped barefoot onto the soft lawn. The grass cradled his feet. He felt himself held carefully, carried securely by the ground as he spun on the planet through the universe. What was it his son's fiancée had called this? Earthing. Yes, earthing. That was her expression. Sir Gregory had mildly scoffed at her at the time, but there was something to it. There was no denying it. Sir Gregory felt the soft grass stroke the gaps between his toes. He could not think of the last time someone or something had touched that part of him. And then he could. A sudden memory came to him. His first nanny. He remembered she would blow between his toes. It would make him grin and gurgle in pleasure. His first in life, all those decades ago. A smile took root on his face. He could feel a strange sensation in his stomach. A swirling. No, not a swirling. It was something more than that, something else. It was an unravelling. The ties that bind were becoming loose, losing their hold on Sir Gregory, surrendering control to a greater force that was making him think and feel in an entirely new way. Even his breathing had changed into a system of gathering more air in one inhalation than his lungs had ever experienced previously. At first, these sensations were pleasing. They felt like a release, but the sensations grew into one of escape. He wasn't sure what, but something was being set free. Sir Gregory felt scared, literally nauseous. And that was a totally new experience, one he did not approve of at all. But Sir Gregory held it together. A few short breaths and he marched back to his slippers.
Stuff and nonsense,
he said out loud as he rode the lift back to his bedroom.
Stuff and nonsense,
he repeated, and realized those were the first words he had spoken that morning. As his stomach tightened again and his back stiffened, the fear that he did not want to admit to subsided. Something had taken over him for a moment. Something that, on reflection, he had enjoyed. He would never tell his wife this, and certainly not his son's fiancée. But maybe, just maybe, he would do all this again someday. As the lift pinged Sir Gregory back to his room, he heard the sound of Skype coming from his laptop. India was calling.